Hello friends, and welcome back to another journaling video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, hopefully just for me and not so much for you, but this will be my first time doing full voiceover for a journaling video, so please let me know how the audio quality is. If I need to adjust volume or balance it better, I am open to any and all feedback and would appreciate it. So for today, I'm doing a mid-year reset first before my July spreads. And unfortunately, I did some prep work and it didn't turn out great. So I did have to pivot for this first page, which is just my mid-year reset cover page. I did have to pivot my plan a little bit. I fortunately dug through some of my supplies and found this really beautiful washi tape that I had from the washi tape shop. And one of my favorite design techniques to do is to create a box or a spread and then layer washi tapes like this one around it. So you'll see that I will lay the washi tape here so that it's framing the box and it almost looks like the flowers are coming from behind that box that's drawn on the page. So even though I don't feel like I'm super happy with some of the transitions I had to make with this spread because my prep work didn't turn out great, I do really love this aspect of how it turned out. And I almost forgot to mention that the reason I'm doing this mid-year reset is because when I set this journal up at the start of the year, I only intended to use it for the first 6 months of the year, and unfortunately, due to my slump that I've had in the last few months, I actually haven't used that much of my journal. So a couple of these spreads are actually necessities, so you'll see that I will set up a new year at a glance for the second half of the year, as well as a new content planner for the second half of the year. And then some of them, like the vision board that I'm setting up here, were just a great opportunity for me to check back in with some of the goals that I had for myself at the beginning of the year and refresh my vision board to really suit where I'm at now with the goals that I'm hoping to achieve in the second half of the year. This vision board header, just like my header that I meant to use for my mid-year reset cover page, was damaged when I prepped them with my Cricut, which again, I'm not really sure what caused that because most of what you're seeing me use in the spread was prepared at the same time using my Cricut, and only that one page that I showed at the beginning of the video was damaged as a result. But I will say at least I was much happier with the way that this vision board title panned out compared to my mid-year reset title, which I'm okay with it. I'm rolling with it. One thing that journaling has really helped me with is to be less of a perfectionist and be okay with things not being perfect, because ultimately my journal is just for me and it's not really gonna hurt anything if it's not 100% perfect. So it's been a good lesson for me over the 3 years that I've been journaling to have that practice in letting go of being perfect. But I was happy that I liked how my label for my vision board turned out a little bit better than how my mid-year reset label turned out on that first page. And I won't bore you with all of the details about what I'm hoping to achieve in the second half of the year, but I did just want to share a little bit about what some of the items on my vision board correlate to as actual goals that I'm working towards. So in the top right corner, we've got an image of someone reading, and that's just because I had been in that reading slump and I really do want to read a lot. I've been spending way too much time on my phone and on social media, so I really want to do a better job of adhering to my screen time limits and cutting down on that so that I can spend more time reading and doing the things that bring me a little bit more enjoyment and peace in my day-to-day life. In addition to that, I have had some pretty big financial goals that I've achieved in the first half of the year, so I do want to continue that progress and continue to work on that. So that's why you'll see that there's some images relating to money and saving, because that's something I want to continue to do. I also have a couple of images here that relate to fitness, so I've got some yoga images as well as a structured workout image in the middle of the page, so those are definitely goals that I'm wanting to achieve. And specifically, I've been working towards getting my headstand in yoga. I am a 200-hour certified yoga instructor, but I am still a little uncomfortable with headstands, so that's my main goal that I want to focus on there. And lastly, continuing my personal development is really important to me, so I'm hoping to continue studying Japanese, as well as considering enrolling in a new degree program. And that's going to be it for my vision board, so we can now move into setting up my year at a glance for the second half of the year. So again, I'm going to grab that same washi tape that I use for the cover spread so that I can continue some continuity throughout these new spreads. And I'm going to use this to create a border on the top and bottom of my year at a glance page. After I finished my border, thankfully all of the prep work that I did for my year at a glance and my content planner turned out much better. I was able to go ahead and pop in my pre-made calendars as well as the pre-made headers that I created on Canva and then cut with my Cricut for this spread. Now, these didn't turn out 100% perfect. Unfortunately, it didn't cut out all of the spaces that needed to be cut out on the labels, but I was honestly just glad that they were usable and I really didn't mind the slight imperfections. I don't think it's going to bother me over time. One reason I was super excited to work on these spreads was because I just got my first set of Tombow dual brush pens, and I actually got the pastel set. So I'm showing a light pink here, but after testing it, I ended up going with a light gray to do some lines on this spread. Now, my year at a glance spreads and content planner are not the most glamorous spreads to set up. They're not the most intricate in terms of artwork or any of the design choices, but I do have to say that these are some of the most satisfying spreads for me to set up because I think they come out so clean and simple looking, and they really just are a classy addition to the journal. And with the addition of a final label to pull the spread together, that is it for my year at a glance spread. And now I can move on to setting up my content planner, which is going to look very similar to this spread. Favorite part of my content planner spread is that I got to use some of these stickers from Izabova, and she's an artist named Katarina that lives in Poland, and I just absolutely love her art style. You can purchase her stickers on Etsy, and I'll link her shop in the description below if you would like to take a look at what she has to offer. But I absolutely love these, and I love that this spread got to be an excuse for me to pull this book out and use them. I will primarily use this content calendar to schedule out my YouTube videos that I'll be recording and when they will be getting posted. I do plan to stick with the Wednesday, Sunday upload schedule as long as that is still practical for me. And so far on this upload schedule, I've been really happy with how things have been going. So I hope that's something that I'm able to continue moving forward. But with that in mind, if there's any content that you're really excited about or that you love to see from other creators and you would like me to try out here on this channel, please let me know because I would love to expand and try out some new concepts. So drop that in the comments down below if you have ideas for videos that you would like to see on this channel. Fortunately, the header for my content planner page was also lost to my Cricut. So here I just wrote out a really simple header on some sticker paper and I stuck it on and decorated it with some stickers. It's not the most beautiful header, but it works for me. So that wraps up my content planner, and now we're going to move into some spreads that I am really excited about. I have decided for the next 75 days that I am going to be doing the 75 hard. Now, if you're not familiar with the 75 hard, it's basically a workout and lifestyle plan that you stick to for 75 days. I'm personally not a big fan of the original creator of the 75 hard, but I do think this is a really great program and can be very motivating to help you to adhere to your goals related to exercise, self-development, and specific nutritional goals if you have them. So I've decided that I'm going to be doing the 75 hard, and I'm just setting up a main page where I can write down my goals and the rules that I'll be adhering to during the 75 days of the challenge. Just a little lore drop about me to help to contextualize this a little bit. I actually work full-time in fitness and wellness. I am a personal trainer, I teach group fitness, and I have a master's degree in kinesiology. So adhering to behavior change and workout plans is not something that I'm unfamiliar with, but I do feel like I've been really in a slump with regard to the routine that I had been following, and I really like the idea of a challenge to motivate myself to get back into a workout routine that really feels good for me and can help to really give me a reset here at the middle of the year. I know everyone does New Year, New Me in January and sets New Year's resolutions, but I figured why not do a little mid-year reset with regard to my workouts as well. In addition to my main page where I will be keeping the rules that I'll be following for the 75 hard, as well as my goals for the program, I also needed to create a tracker sheet because there are several metrics that I'll be tracking on a daily basis for the entire 75 days of the program. And I just doodled in some little labels for these metrics, but part of the goal of the 75 hard is to do 2 45-minute workouts at minimum per day. Now, the original 75 hard says that one of these 2 workouts should be done outside. That part is not as important to me as I do typically take my dog for a walk every day, so I do get some time outside with that regard. But for me personally, I really want to get back into a structured, progressive weightlifting routine, and then I also want to engage in yoga practice on a daily basis. Now, I do just want to give the disclaimer that yoga is not intended to be a workout. Lots of people do use yoga as a great form of movement, and I would be one of those people as well. It is probably my favorite way to get up and move my body, but that is not the purpose of yoga, and asana, or the actual poses that you do in a yoga class, are just one of the many limbs of yoga. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer because yoga is really important to me, and engaging in a daily yoga practice is really important to me, not only for the physical benefits, but also for my mental well-being and my ability to be mindful. So that is one of my goals while I'm doing the 75 hard. But I wanted to be clear that my only purpose in doing yoga is not to get a good workout. I also feel that it has a lot of other really great benefits. In addition to getting 2 45-minute workouts per day, this challenge also encourages you to drink a gallon or 128 ounces of water per day. Now, I'm typically pretty good about getting at least 64 ounces of water per day, so I do think that this one is going to be a little bit of a challenge for me because I'm going to have to double that water intake, but I do think there are a lot of benefits to making sure that you're staying hydrated, especially with doing as much working out as this program insists that you do. And there are 3 other primary aspects of the 75 hard challenge that I will be adhering to. So the first is to read at least 10 pages per day of a nonfiction personal development book. So I have picked out 2 books for the duration of this challenge, and I really don't think reading 10 pages per day is going to be difficult for me given the amount that I typically read. Then you are also supposed to follow a structured diet, and that's not a diet that is set by the 75 hard. It can just be any nutritional changes that you want to adopt. So I personally want to cut back on any added sugars in my diet, as well as limiting the amount that I typically eat out. So my goal is to not buy food out for the duration of the challenge. And then lastly, you are not supposed to consume any alcohol for the 75 days that you are participating in the challenge. Those are all of the main components of the 75 hard, and I'm honestly really excited to get started on this program. Let me know if this is something that you would be interested in me recording content about. I would be happy to share this journey with you all and let you know what things I've learned and how I feel about the 75 hard challenge by the time that I'm done. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know in the comments, and I would be happy to share that with you all. My 75 hard tracker sheet was the last spread that I needed to set up for my mid-year reset. So now we'll go ahead and move into my July spreads. And let me tell you, you got to watch me set up that tracker sheet in 10 times speed, but it took a very long time. So I was thrilled to move into setting up my July spreads, where I knew that I had done so much prep work in advance, creating things on Canva and then cutting them out with my Cricut so that this spread could be set up a little bit more quickly and a little bit more smoothly. So I was really excited to get started on my July spreads. And you will definitely see an overall theme in my July spreads because I recently read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I have just been loving all things space and astronauts, so that is the theme that I went with for the month of July. Will be my July cover spread all complete, and I think it turned out so stinking cute. So that means that we can move along into setting up my workout tracker for the month of July. Now, I know we just spent a significant amount of time talking about my tracker for the 75 Hard Challenge, which I will be starting in the month of July. But I still like to have my workout trackers in each of my monthly setups because I record a little bit more detailed data here about the workouts that I'm doing and about the number of steps that I'm getting each day so that I have that to reference when I'm looking at my activity for the month overall. And with my workout tracker all complete, we can now set up my sleep tracker and my habit tracker, which these are the spreads that I use every single month to help to keep track of how much I'm sleeping and the habits that I want to adhere to on a daily basis. So this will also help in addition to my 75 Hard tracker to make sure that I'm doing the other habits that I want to maintain on a regular basis. In addition to that, I also feel that recovery is extremely important, especially when you're doing a very challenging thing like the 75 Hard, where you're doing 2 workouts at a minimum per day. So I really want to focus on getting at least 8 hours of sleep per night, and having my sleep tracker helps me to keep track of how much rest I am able to get. So that is going to be all of my monthly spreads completed, and now we'll set up one weekly spread in this video, and that will be our final spread before we do a flip through of all of the pages that we've set up together. Recently, I've found that a lot of my weekly trackers or my weekly spreads have just consisted of splitting my pages into 4 even quadrants and then using 7 of those for the days of the week and the final 8th box for a review. And I honestly just really want to get a little bit more creative in my weekly spreads and try out some different layouts. So you'll see a little bit of that here. I feel like having a week that's not 7 days always gives me an opportunity to try some new things out in my weekly spreads, but I am trying to take inspiration from some other bullet journalers. I know I've talked a lot about Mochi Bujo and her channel, but I do really like the way that she lays out a lot of her weekly spreads. So I tried to take some inspiration from her spreads here with having the mini calendar to reference and just kind of spacing things out a little bit differently than I normally would on the page. And I'm really happy with how this one turned out overall. And with that weekly spread all complete, we can flip back through to the start of my mid-year reset and do a slow flip through of everything that we've set up today. Now, before we do that, I did just have a little bit of inspiration. I wanted to add a little layering to this title. I don't know if it really helped, but at least it's just the title page that I'm not the happiest with in this setup, and I can really overlook any of the other flaws throughout. And with that adjustment made, we can now do our final flip through, so please enjoy all of the spreads that we set up in today's video. Let me know if you like any of them, if you have a favorite, and if you'll be doing a setup of your own for the middle of the year to refresh things. And that brings us to the end of our video for today, friends. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a great one.